I usually try not to cover current events in gaming, partially because I find the rat race of up-to-date gaming content tiring, and partially because, oh my goodness! But I figure I can make an exception when said content relates directly to a 25-year-old game that I've made a core part of my identity. Kirby Air Riders just had its second Direct, hosted by video game darling Masahiro Sakurai, and, begrudgingly, I gotta admit, Unk still got it. I wasn't too sold after the first Direct. Air Riders looked like a faithful new entry that expanded upon Air Ride's original vision, but would ultimately suffer the same problem of being limited in overall content. Sometimes it feels good to be proven wrong. Top Ride's back, all the courses from Air Ride return. Road Trip looks like the type of really engaging single-player content that the prequel sorely lacked. There's an actual story, and cutscenes, and boss battles. Is that Zero Two? And of course, what we were all looking forward to, new riders. Look, it's Rocky! Sakurai, you've truly done it again. I genuinely didn't expect to see Taranza or DeRoach make it in either, let alone with this much aura. I'm very satisfied with the game's roster. So far. While Sakurai said this recent batch would be the last characters he's showing off before launch, he never said this was the full final roster. Which begs the question, how many more riders will be in this game? Will there even be any more riders we don't know about? And most importantly, please Sakurai, please put Adeleine in this game, she's my favorite! That last one wasn't a question. Will Adeleine be in Kirby Air Riders? Maybe? I certainly hope so at least, and I'd say out of all the characters that haven't been revealed, she's got a pretty good shot. That being said, I wouldn't be surprised if she's not in, and being totally fair, Sakurai already gave me the Kirby 64 acknowledgement I desperately craved. I don't need Adeleine in this game. Oh, but I definitely want her in, so let's talk about it. Adeleine was never a mainstay Kirby character. In fact, following Kirby 64, she was completely erased from the series, until Kirby Planet Robobot let you decorate your mech with a crusty PNG of her. Kirby 64 heads, we've never been more back than this. Oh, hot dog! After her full return as a playable dream friend in Kirby Star Allies, alongside other characters like Rick, Marks, Gooey, DeRoach, Magalore, Taranza, and Susie. Adeleine would continue to make regular appearances and cameos as a recurring member of the extended Kirby cast. But that's the thing, she's a secondary character at best, only existing as a main player one time 25 years ago, with next to no lasting presence following that. The more recent secondary characters have much more prominence and relevance, while the older have much more history. Adeleine is a memorable fan favorite, but if we look at what Kirby characters are absolute must-haves for a game like this, they're all pretty much in, and Adeleine ends up lower on the scale. Though, relevance and importance to the greater Kirby series means nothing when Starman's in. Please do not take this as me disrespecting the GOAT, but I think it's fair to say Starman wasn't a household name before Sakurai went out of his way to talk about how cool they are. Rightfully so, mind you. So why should Adeleine be in Kirby Air Riders? Obviously, we all want to see our favorite Kirby Scrimblow make the cut, but mine's the best. Back of the line, Elfilin fans, this is my time! I actually do want to see Elfilin in this game too. They could give him a machine that looks like a truck. Being a painter, the creative potential for Adeleine as a rider is limitless. From the simple things like whacking opponents with her brush, or leaving paint on the track to act like oil slicks, maybe even blocking enemy racers' views like the much beloved Mario Kart blooper. With team battles recently revealed, perhaps she can leave behind a slipstream of paint to help boost her teammates. That would play into her support role from Kirby 64. And that's all without mentioning that she has the ability to bring her paintings to life. If Lololo and Lalala's special gimmick can be, there's two of them, and Rick's is just being handsome, then there's no shortage of possibility a character like Adeleine would bring. Also, and I hate to play this card, but I couldn't help but notice that this roster is lacking in regards to women. Susie is the only single entrant, while Lalala only gets a role due to her relationship with a man. Yikes. I don't know that Kirby Air Riders is gonna pass the Bechdel test. What an atrocious way to read that. In all seriousness, it might seem like a reach to complain about representation in the Kirby series of all games, especially when I've made a video talking about how gender is ambiguously conveyed to begin with, but getting some more she-hers alongside the he-hims and they-thems would be pretty cool. However, there is one point against Adeleine's inclusion, and that's the dreaded Sakurai bias. Now listen, Sakurai very clearly does not hate modern Kirby, or any game that he didn't have direct involvement with, but at the same time he does have his preferences. This is just human nature. It's expected for a director to favor their own work. After all, they made it. I like my videos more than I like others. Masahiro Sakurai and I are two peas in a pod. With the included characters predominantly originating from Sakurai games and designs being reverted back to match the Sakurai style, it's clear that despite all of the additions and changes throughout the series' history, Sakurai still has his own clear vision of what the world of Kirby is. Why does this matter in regards to Adeleine? Well, this goes back to a time where Sakurai still oversaw the production of the Kirby series, but not in the games. Sakurai was responsible for writing the initial outline for the Kirby Right Back At Ya anime, and among the requirements listed was one stating no humans are to appear in the show. Technically, Adeleine is never directly stated to be human in the games, so we're in the clear. At the same time, why does she look so human in a world of honest-to-goodness critters? Hey, if Rick's not a hamster anymore, we can't assume anything based on appearances. It's also worth noting, just because Sakurai said something 20 years ago doesn't mean he hasn't softened his views or even changed his mind. In fact, we've absolutely seen this happen before. So, will Adeleine be in Kirby Air Riders? Oh, maybe. Wow, great conclusion, Silvery! Shut up, dude, you're not even real. You're a hypothetical straw man trapped in my subconscious that will cease to exist by the time this video's finished. What? Personally, I don't expect Adeleine to make the cut. I'm definitely huffing as much copium as I can, but if the game launches and I don't see her bright smiling face, I won't be disappointed. Air Riders looks like a really fantastic game with a lot of care and appreciation for the Kirby series. One character not being playable isn't going to change that for me. But what do you think? Could we see Adeleine in Kirby Air Riders? And which characters would you most like to see as riders? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't, and of course, thanks for watching.